Hi, today I really want to share with you a product board. If you're a product manager who's trying to include your stakeholders, get a really transparent and inclusive understanding of what your customers want, and really deciding and communicating upon the best way to do that, share it, that roadmap out with the world, then this is going to be a really great product for you. We're going to go through four key areas: insights, feature prioritization, roadmaps, and finally a great customer portal where your customers can interact and tell you what they really want to see out of your product. So let's dive right into it. So when you first start in Product Board, you'll probably want to see start at this area. It's called the customer feedback area or the insights inbox. So this is where you can track and kind of funnel all of the customer insights from across to your company. So you're speaking about them in one place, and more importantly, you're actually applying them against your product roadmap. So as you can see here, there's a bunch of users that have been created here, and this is the sample sandbox that you can get yourself when you sign up for an account. But I can see that I can include Zendesk tickets. We've done this ourselves, where you automatically suck in Zendesk tickets based upon tags. You can also just see basically that you can also include via email, intercom, Zapier, a whole bunch of other areas, but they all should end up in this one area. So you're all looking at the same version of reality. From here, I'm able to just look at each one just like a normal email system. It's an inbox that I can just go through one by one. And when I see something that's really, really important, all I need to do is highlight that area and see this little icon here. Click on that, and then I can map that directly to a feature inside my roadmap, or even just a product area if we don't have a feature for that yet. So let's take a look through here. So I want to put this on in the Slack messaging app under communicate with my teams. Okay, this is about rich text formatting, and they seem pretty adamant about this, so I'm going to call this a critical. As you can see here, I'm taking bits and pieces because a customer may talk about 4 or 5 different things inside their message that they want to talk about, but I'm actually able to directly map that area, that real customer voice, to a particular feature. We've found this enormously beneficial in creating collaboration, in creating a single focus of customer feedback, and making sure that if anyone's hearing anything, they're not just keeping it to themselves. You should be able to forward that to this inbox via email. You can do that via Zendesk, as we talked about. They also have a handy Chrome extension where you can just highlight anything that's important and track it as an insight against a particular feature. That's particularly good for your SMEs if they see something really important on a competitor's website or just an industry best practice. They can highlight things, tag it against a feature and say, hey, we should be building it like that, or keeping this in mind. It's really, really great that you can also sort these into collections. So if you had particular people focused on particular areas of customers or particular feature areas, you can actually create these collections here in order so they can just see the feedback coming from that particular client or for that particular feature over here. Once I'm done, I can actually mark that as processed, just like a red email, and I can just move on to the next one. So you can make sure that people have the objective to reach inbox 0, and make sure they're keeping up with all the customer feedback. Once we have all that customer feedback tagged against a feature and processed as like I just showed you, the next part is to move into the features tab. Now in here you can see it's kind of like a scoring mechanism. We should be seeing the user impact about. I'll just click through to the rich text here, and we can click on each feature individually and just see all of the information associated with it. This is really important to get into this area now. So we can see a description, we can add attachments, we can have sub-features, and we can start doing all the stuff we need to the idea to really give it that quantitative and qualitative analysis to decide, is this really important for us to focus on? As you can see over here, you've got the detail with all of the areas that we can fill out. We'll talk about that in a sec, but that insight that I just created is already tagged against there. So essentially we're talking about what we want to develop, but you can quickly see the why. Why should we be developing this? This customer is saying this customer is saying that, our competitor has this, our competitor has that. It really makes sure that you're aligning on your why as a product team and as a wider company before you start building things. We'll get into the portal in a minute. Coming back to the detail, all of these features here you can fill out here. These drivers are really important. Typically, a lot of people were using Rice or Kano or something like that. You can read up more about that on the internet. Rice is the one we use right now. Reach, impact, confidence, effort. So we want to know, is this going to be important to customers? Impact. Is a lot of customers going to want this? Reach. Do we know uh, basically how to build this thing? Confidence. And is there a lot of work involved? Effort. So we actually score those on these areas here, which will eventually, once you've got your user impact score, your drivers, and you can actually have effort as well. That will give you a final score, which you can say, is this a really good idea or not? And start ranking those things and start separating the really, really important stuff from the maybe not so important stuff. But this is the place where your product managers will do a lot of work in understanding, with their stakeholders obviously, but understanding what to focus on next. Particular things I want to focus on here are you can tag your features by a certain thing in case you have a certain way of splitting your roadmaps. You can add time frames for your roadmap, which we'll kind of come up to in a minute, about whether you typically like those big quarterly chunk roadmaps or you see it like a timeline view. We can actually see what segments we want to focus on inside a business. Depending on what size of organization you are, you might have customer segments, not particular customers. We can assign them to objectives, so it's really, really great that, actually I'll show you this right now. What I really, really love about Productboard is the way to layer in complexity as we go. So here I can see a very simple view of the product. I can see, okay, so this is what the users are saying, this is what we think, our drivers, and this ends up in a final score. But I can start layering in quite easily OKRs. So I'll turn this on here. Oops. There we go. And suddenly I can say the business can start having a say in what products are being built. This is what our customers want. This is what us as a product team think is important. This is a prioritization score. But finally, is it hitting OKRs? Is it strategically aligning with our business? Just then I was able to layer that in very seamlessly. So if you want to start very simple or go very complex later on, it's all possible. You can even do that by company. So, okay, so are our key customers going to find this valuable? So I can start saying, okay, so our top 3 customers, are they saying anything about this? And then finally, you can also do segments, which is up here. We just talked about. Are our key segments being served? Are our key customers wanting this? Is it driving our business? Is this just a good idea from a reach and impact point of view, or a lot of people wanting this? And finally, what are our customers saying? This is such a rich dashboard to have when you're deciding about what products to work on next. Obviously, I maybe wouldn't do this all at once, but it gives you the option to decide what's important to you and how you will decide what's an important product. Each company is going to have to decide that on their own, and especially at each stage of their journey. So I'll just turn a lot of this off now. And we'll probably move into the roadmaps. Now, the cool part is that I can actually, before we do that though, I can actually start ordering this view by a number of different ways. I can filter by whatever option that I want. So for example, I might say, just show me Slack's stuff. Click on that, and the view will show me whatever I want there. I can say, just show me stuff which is for this customer, that customer. I can start creating my own views. And then I just save that as a particular view for me or for everyone else. But what I really love, which I'll come back to here, is being able to sort this list by anything that you want, whether by just a normal hierarchy of your product, this product and this feature. You can see they're grouped under these here, by release, by status, etc. So here's the status. I want to know what's in progress, what's planned, or what's a candidate. One thing that we use a lot is this by release. So it makes it easy to do prioritized ordering or sequencing of your work. So if you're in release 1, you release 2, you suddenly realize that there's a bit of space in this release. I can just easily drag that up and see my estimates update in real time, so I can make sure that I'm maintaining any sort of capacity or velocity within that release. So let's move on to the roadmaps feature, which is just here. Now, as you can see, we can see that really clean view of what's in each release, or what's in each quarter, etc. So I will turn on all of our releases, and you can see, and I can actually toggle on and off objectives. There we go. So here we're seeing all of the features that we talked about before. Here's the feature that we particularly talked about. We can see that it's being tagged in release 2, but I can move that to release 1 if I want. That'll update live. So there's a real visual way of working, and this is great when you're working with teams which are remote. It's just drag and drop, moving things around, making sure that everyone's clear. But at any point, we can dive deeper into each feature just by clicking that. We see that same view that we had before. Description, insights, the what we're doing, why we're doing it, and so on. We can also create different versions of these roadmaps. So if I wanted to create a new one, new roadmap, we can see that we can have these roadmaps, by timeline, or just in buckets like by releases we just saw. Let's do one by status. So we'll turn on all our statuses, and we get that kind of more Kanban view. I'll just collapse this for now, so we can see Slack. But I can see that Kanban view of what's new, what's next, what are we planning, what's in progress, what's been released. Or I can just go straight back to that release view very quickly after saving. This is what's in release, this is what's in next release. And I can actually see the progress within this view just by clicking on this square here. And I can change the status very quickly if I want to. But obviously that'll be changed based upon the column that I put in the other view. You can actually also, there's a whole bunch of ways to turn on and off views in the cog up here, but I can also print or export this to an image. So it's really great to be able to have this central view, have everyone align around it. They can log in this way, but if I ever need to share this with someone externally or make sure that there's add this to a board report or something like that, I can just quickly export that into an image, just put that to the PowerPoint. No redoing those slides every month to make sure that everyone's up to date and in the same area. Finally, we'll talk about the portal, which is actually really powerful. Productboard allows you to create this customer-focused portal where you can share particular features out to the customers, and really, for me, it falls into 2 big buckets. A great way to speculatively say we're thinking of working on this, where these things are under consideration, how much interest is out there, how much energy should we put into investigating this, versus hey, we're really going to build this, keep in touch and understand what's the details that you want to know about this particular feature. So Productboard actually do this themselves, so it's really great to see the team dog fooding their own product. And I've actually used their product board to tell the company what I want them to build. If you come down here to the bottom, there's the product board portal. It's a really great view to show what's in action. And I can see here that they're thinking of integrating with Help Scout. Maybe I can click on that. I'm interested in saying that's important, nice to have, or critical for me. So I'd say this is important. I can fill out some real detailed qualitative information and hit submit, and that goes directly into the user insights field as we saw before. So I'm hearing from real customers and seeing a vote of how many people really want this feature. That's been a huge way that the company's been able to decide what to work on next. APIs, Salesforce, one that we're looking at, Azure DevOps, which will be really important. But you can see that it's a great way to actually include the customers in the roadmap, create excitement, and also transparency about what you're really going to be focusing on in your roadmap. Now, it's very easy to create this. You just click on Portal. When we go back to the Features tab, as we talked about before, or when you click on really any feature, there's this portal area up here in the top right. Here you can create a card, as we saw just over on the other view, where I can fill out a description, I can add a piece of text, I can decide which product portal I want to focus on, and then hit compose update and it's done. So let's take this for one where maybe that does not have, here we go. So I can upload my image. I can say this would be a great idea. Save that. And if I go back to the product portal, I should see edit message. There we go. So it's really, really great to be able to do this all from one area. Oh, sorry, I didn't post that update, did I? There we go. So it's really great to be seeing that all from one area, and being able to see, this would be a great idea. What's really great inside this view is being able to see which companies and users are actually wanting that, and having that conversation. Well, we're seeing a lot of traction on this. We should really do a lot of work to feel that out a bit more. Okay, save that. So that's a really great feature to be able to externally share your roadmap and make sure that customers get a real view, early view, get your beta testers even into it to have an early view of what you're really thinking about, drawing them in, maybe even inviting them in to help you develop that feature, so you can make sure that it's really going to hit the market in a way which is valuable. So those are the really key areas of Productboard. We talked about capturing insights and funneling them to one place where we can directly tie information against features and product areas. So when we are asking why, who wants this, we can easily see real evidence from our customers. We talked about being able to decide what's really important using drivers, using customer insights, using OKRs and objectives, using our segments and key customers. Basically, all those things are available to us in our toolbox to decide what's important. One point that we really need to call out here is that this prioritization score can be decided by you. So you can actually say, okay, this is really important. I want to put this at 50%, 60%, and this one is more important to get your 100% score. And it will calculate that for you in the background. But it's really important for product teams to be able to quickly decide what's a quick win and what's value versus what's something that's going to be a huge time suck and potentially just strain resources. Next, we looked at the roadmap, which we can cut in whatever way that we want, from a timeline to just these buckets here, and then being able to deep dive into each feature to understand what it is, why it's important, and who wants it. And finally, being able to push all that out to our customers via a product portal where we can collaborate with them on understanding what's important to them, who wants it, and how critical that nature is. So that's been a great tour of Productboard. Hopefully you have a greater understanding of how it will help you as a product manager. There's a lot of different, obviously there's a lot of different players in that area. None that I've seen that bring all of these key features together to understand, take a straight line from ideas through to this needs to be worked on. A lot of other ones I've looked at have been either way too complex and too large, or didn't include key things like the user insights section that we saw. Though I see a lot of other products in the market taking that on and actually including that as a part of their feature set. So if you have any questions, drop it in the comments, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.